for having me tonight.
Thank you so much, Father.
On this wonderful continuation on a very interesting subject. How is it going so far?
We are being transformed.
It's real food for thought. Father, we are seeing the reactions even online. There's so much interest. People are blown away by the kinds of revelations and can't wait to get deeper into this.
I know. That's very true. People can't wait. And thank you so much again for joining. And I pray that God blesses you and enlightens you and empowers you and enlarges you tonight as you partake of this phenomenal broadcast that we are having. Thank you so much for being here. And we are straight away getting into the subject, which is the cerebral gift. And under that, we are here to discuss on the consciousness. The consciousness. And in an attempt to bring clarity to what is known as consciousness, we will have to divide the activity of the brain, which is the mind, into different categories, so that we put everything that we teach into perspective. So it becomes easy for people to consume and also to relate with. So we are getting into that tonight, and I'll try here and there to remind you of some of the teachings that I might have already given with regards to the same subject.
Thank you.
Remember, there is a time that I told you concerning the awakening that happened when Prophet Ezekiel was receiving a vision from the Lord, where he is in a state that allows him to see into the spirit.
Yes.
And even hear discussions happening in a realm beyond the physical. And while he is there, he is still assisted by the Spirit of God, by the hand, to stand up on his feet. And God says, if you are to stand on your feet, I will talk to you.
Ezekiel 2 verse 2.
Yeah.
And the Spirit entered into me when he spake unto me and set me upon my feet, that I heard him that spake unto me.
So he's already in a vision, but he is not aware of his current state in terms of consciousness.
Okay.
But in that state of unconscious, he sees and he hears and he's aware of what he's seeing, and he's also aware of what he hears. But then God wakes him up and makes him stand. Because the promise was, if you are to stand, I will talk to you.
Stand upon thy feet and I will speak unto
I will speak unto you. But before that, God was speaking to him.
Yes, Father.
And then God says, if you are to stand, I will also speak to you. So it's the same God speaking to a man who is now in two different states. First of all, he's in an unconscious state. But though unconscious, he still can hear God's voice in that state and see visions. And then God wakes him up into another dimension, which is consciousness, where he can be able to stand and balance is maintained and he is aware of his surroundings and still be able to hear God talk. So in that state, you can still be able to dream. Whilst you're standing, you can still be able to hear God's voice whilst you're walking, whilst you're driving. The voice of God or spiritual occurrences and happenings do not in that state come and interfere with your daily activities. You continue, it is business as usual, yet at the same time you get to hear what God is saying whilst you're standing, whilst you're walking, whilst you're running, whilst you're swimming. There's no more interference. So it's an awakening into a conscious state. You see that happening like I've given you with the prophet of Ezekiel.
Yes.
So it's a graduation into another state, which allows you to stand and still hear God speak. So you're migrating from an unconscious state where you have to be knocked down by spiritual experiences, and you lose an awareness of where you are situated. You forget everything else, and all that you can hear is God, and all that you can see is a vision. And then so many things can happen around you, even to your body. While it's you, and that's it. And you can't defend yourself. You can't run away from danger because you are having a spiritual experience while it's you're unconscious of your surroundings. Then there is an awakening by the Spirit of God from that state into another state where you can now stand and still interact with the divine while it's you're aware again of what is happening around you. So we are here to briefly talk about consciousness.
Thank you.
Consciousness, and in trying to explain that to you, we'll have to also deal with this subject that you kept on bringing in, the subconscious mind and the conscious mind.
Thank you.
Yes. So, not everything that you know is known by the brain. It's not everything that you know that is known by the brain. The brain is not the only thinking organ that you have. You remember, pastors, during our pastors' seminar when I was teaching on the gut,
Yes.
the intestines,
Yes.
the kidneys, and the reins that instructs. The reins actually instructs. There are times when the reins, organs in your body, they give instructions to the brain.
I will bless the Lord who hath given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night.
In the
seasons.
night. So what gets instructed in the night season is the brain. It is your reasoning. It is your mind that is given instruction by the reins. Reins that we never thought had any instruction.
Yes.
So it goes to show that to a certain degree, your reins have some intellectual abilities. There is a level of intelligence that God has put into every organ of your body. And the part that keeps that intelligence is the brain.
Okay.
Because you cannot transfer information, you cannot hand over knowledge into an organ or to an organ. And there is no place within that organ like the brain to keep the information.
Yes.
So I want people to be aware of that. Because there are times when what you know is not known by the brain only. This is the reason you are chasing a chicken in the village. Those ones we call the road runners. You eat it, but you would have really worked so hard to, you looked after it growing up, but when it comes to the day that you decide to consume it, it will make sure that you pay another price. And finally, you catch it, you cut off its head, you let it loose.
It was still.
The marathon continues. And people talk about running up and down like headless chicken. Okay, then look at the placement of the brain. You now have the head in your hands, but you still have to struggle to find the body. So explain the two. You get to notice that there has already been a transference of the mind, of the brain to the rest of the body, to an extent where even when the brain is separated from the body, still you can see the body trying to execute messages.
Wow.
There's an instruction to the body to run for your life. Run for your life. There is no part there to also notice that the head is gone, but the chicken is still running for its life. So, what is there in the body that is aware of danger? Having lost your head that contains the brain, the chicken is still aware of danger and still aware of the importance of life. So it was sent into the body as a program. So the body must have a certain way of also receiving the mind. And the part of the body that receives the mind must be also the brain. Remember, I was saying that every part of your body is represented in the brain.
Yes.
Every part of your body is represented in the brain. When you think of even folding your arm, before you fold, you thought about it. When you think of stretching your legs, or you fold your legs, there is no string, though I am aware of the nerves, the tissues that you have in your physical body. But when you think of folding your legs, there is no solid string that pulls like when you are cycling and you want to apply some brakes. That's not the situation where there is a tension of a certain nerve that pulls the leg back from the brain. Doctors cannot find that there is no contraction of a certain rope that pulls the leg. No, it is simply a communication. It's a line of communication. And then you see your legs folding. So what has been communicated there is not necessarily a pull from the brain by the brain of the leg, but it's a dissemination of an instruction. The leg is told what to do. Told what to do. And you don't tell a leg unless it is intelligent.
Wow.
And that part of intelligence of the leg must be the brain of the leg. If every part of your body is represented, is there in the brain, it also shows that there is a part of the brain in every part of your body, which creates then the synchronization of your entire body. The system can work perfectly. There is a proper communication. There must be something of like nature in your phone for my phone to be able to call your phone and your phone responds. So I want us to look into that because it's a gift given to us by God, but we have never sat down to really study.
Thank you. That's true.
And we've missed out a lot on the usage of the cerebral gift. And yet, God has been trying to communicate with us from that state. And yet we have not been good in also acquiring enough education. But what are we saying when I'll give some more examples on that one. What are we saying when we say that, like I've noticed that most of God's people, they lack basic knowledge of God. Their knowledge of God is so shallow. Some they lack even the most basic information concerning their God, though born again. We established a thought last time that what you see, you have taken a picture. You are taking pictures and videos every time you look. Your eyes are camera lenses and images are being stored in your brain and cells are taking on the shape of whatever it is that you're looking at. So this goes also to show that you don't possess currently a cell that carries the correct image of God, since you've never seen him. Your imagination of the devil is according to what you were taught. So you don't have the correct image even of the devil. So that is why even when you try to rebuke the devil, before he responds to you, he investigates, he wants to look into the image of himself that you have.
Yes.
So if he notices there's a difference, he knows that you're not talking to him. Whatever you're saying is not being addressed to him. We were given an appearance of the devil that he doesn't possess. And the preachers that brought God to you, they might have given you again a wrong appearance of God. So when I say that people do not, God's children, they lack basic understanding, basic knowledge of God. What am I saying? The problem is not even with their brain. When a person lacks understanding of God, what are we saying? Because remember, I've told you, you know God by God. So if knowing is by God, then we say a person lacks understanding, meaning he lacks knowing. Are we saying he lacks God? So when you lack in understanding of God, if that's where you're lacking, your knowledge of God is limited. And yet you know God by the Spirit of God. Are we saying you are lacking God? That's why you don't know God. But how can you lack God? If he is to come into you, all of him gets into you. Every part of God comes into you. But then when you are saying he has no knowledge of God, are we saying he has no God? Because you know God by God. You know God by God. So if you know God by God, and then we say that you're a child of God and you have no knowledge of God, what are we saying?
Explain it for me. Explain it.
We are not saying that the God that you have received is not complete. You are not lacking in having certain parts of God. But the problem that you are having is the awakening of the parts of God in you that are responsible of knowledge. You have all of God, but not all of his parts are active. The parts of God responsible for knowing God in you, the parts of God in you that are responsible for knowledge are not active.
So it's not all of God that is responsible for knowledge.
It's all of God that is responsible for knowledge, but that knowledge is in categories.
All right.
Because, like, remember, God is, when you look at his body, there are things that you can do. Let's say you are writing a letter.
Yes.
Probably what you might need is your vision. You need your hands, you need a piece of paper, you need your brain. You can write a letter.
Yes.
And under the table, you have no legs. Probably due to an accident, you have lost your legs.
Yeah.
And you can write whatever you write on a piece of paper, and you send a letter, and the recipient, the reader of the letter, might not even know parts of your body that were missing when you wrote the letter.
Yes.
Because what you have put on that piece of paper has nothing to do with your legs.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So there are certain parts of your body that you can't do without. Okay? So a person reading the letter might not even know that somebody who wrote this letter, the legs are missing. Because there is nothing of the leg that is needed on what was written. Yet the leg knows. But everything that the leg knows has nothing to do with what I'm trying to do here. Yet the leg knows, but its knowledge has nothing to do with what I'm doing on top of the table.